Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys WR named cut candidate after early NFL struggles. The Dallas Cowboys have a crowded WR room right now, which means that even talented players face the possibility of being released. After 2 years of lackluster production and slow development, Jaylen Tolbert's name stands out as a potential cut candidate. Tolbert was a third-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft after an impressive career at South Alabama. But he has yet to make an impact with the Cowboys, and time is running out. Inside the Star writer Mark Heaney made a case for Tolbert being released on June 9th. Tolbert has had opportunities over his first 2 seasons. He just hasn't capitalized on them to this point. If that trend stays throughout the preseason process, why shouldn't he be on the chopping block? It would allow Dallas to give more snaps to young receivers like Jaylen Brooks and Ryan Flournoy. Heaney wrote, Brooks didn't have many opportunities in 2023, but the Cowboys kept him on the roster after taking him in the 7th round of last year's draft. Flournoy is one of the most prominent UDFA signings of this year, so both are trending upwards. While Tolbert got on the field last fall, he did not nail down a consistent role. The door is open for the Cowboys WR group in 2024. Tolbert handed first starts in 2023. The Cowboys tried a variety of ideas and player combinations last season, which included Tolbert. The 25-year-old started 6 times and played in all 17 games, but did not make much noise. According to Pro Football Reference, Tolbert caught 22 passes on 36 targets for 268 yards and 2 touchdowns. He only had 1 drop and posted a catch rate of 61.1%. With CeeDee Lamb leading the Cowboys' offense, it's understandable that the team's other receivers don't boast similar numbers. However, Tolbert was given a chance to usurp Michael Gallup and potentially work into a number 2 role over Brandon Cooks. Instead, Tolbert never had more than 2 consecutive starts. His best performance came in his 3rd start as he caught 3 passes for 49 yards and 1 touchdown in a 28-23 loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. Cowboys linked to trade for former WR. Things aren't certain for Tolbert already, but a trade for Cedric Wilson Jr. would only make the situation less stable. However, Bleacher Report writer Christopher Knox recently considered the situation a legitimate possibility. Wilson is with the New Orleans Saints, but could face an uphill battle for a roster spot. Knox thinks Dallas should look alive for a potential trade if he can't make the Saints' 53-man roster. If the Saints deem Wilson expendable by the end of camp, they could look to acquire some draft capital and $1.4 million in 2024 cap space by trading him, Knox wrote on June 17th. If that happens, Dallas should be very interested. Besides Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed starring for New Orleans, they also have Equiminius Street Brown and young prospects A.T. Perry and Bub Means. Wilson brings experience and assuredness, but New Orleans has found a steady rhythm with young WRs coming in and making plays. Dallas Cowboys linked to shocking Dak Prescott replacement after 2024 season. The Dallas Cowboys may have some tough decisions to make after the upcoming 2024 NFL season. Ideally, the team will simply win the NFC East on way to a deep playoff run. Hopefully, that run would lead to a Super Bowl appearance and then a win. However, those are all very hopeful things that are far from being a guarantee. Jerry Jones is running out of patience with his current version of the Cowboys. The team has constantly lost when the games matter the most, and he could make massive changes after the 2024 season if his team doesn't make a deep run in the postseason. Dak Prescott has been rumored to be a likely casualty if Dallas underwhelms in 2024. Dallas Cowboys linked to shocking Dak Prescott replacement after 2024 season. Should the Cowboys fall short of Jones' expectations, Prescott could be on his way out of town. The question would then become, who would replace the franchise quarterback? ESPN analyst Bill Barnwell has suggested one shocking candidate. He thinks Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins could be a potential Prescott replacement. The Cowboys could commit to paying Cousins at least that $37.5 million for 1 year of work, with $27.5 million guaranteed in 2025 and another $10 million guaranteed for 2026, regardless of whether he is on the roster. If he sticks around, the Cowboys would pay him $72.5 million for 2 years, or an average of $36.3 million per season. That's just over half of what Prescott is projected to make per year on his new deal. Cousins could make sense for the Dallas Cowboys, depending on multiple different factors. First and foremost, he is coming off of a torn Achilles. Cousins will have to prove throughout the 2024 season that he can get back to being the star that he was before the injury. Atlanta would also have to be willing to move off of the veteran quarterback and move on to Michael Penix Jr. Making the move from Prescott to Cousins would be a regression. However, committing huge money long-term to Prescott would not be a wise move if the Cowboys don't truly believe in him. A lot is riding on the 2024 season for the Dallas Cowboys. If things don't go well, Cousins could very well be an option to be the new quarterback in town for the 2025 campaign. Cowboys could trade promising Tay before 2024 season. The Dallas Cowboys have a talented group of pass catchers, but one of them may hit the road before the 2024 season begins. Tight end Peyton Hendershot is in his third offseason with the Cowboys, but it could be his last. It's one of the consequences of having a talented roster. But Hendershot could be surplus to requirements, and that's why Blogging the Boys writer LP Cruz believes he is a trade candidate. What works in Hendershot's favor is he is an athletic, receiving tight end with a pass-catching upside, making him an appealing option to potential suitors. The downside is that he'd compete with John Stevens, who boasts a similar athletic profile. Trading Hendershot wouldn't be to acquire draft capital, but to acquire a prospect to fill a need. For example, Dallas could trade Hendershot for a linebacker or reserve offensive lineman. Cruz wrote on June 17th. Hendershot is currently shooting to be the team's number 3 Tay, behind Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker. While he is still absolutely in the running for that, the fact that the Cowboys now have another athletic prospect in Stevens means they could cash out on Hendershot and get something in return. Hendershot deals with injury in .2023 after a promising first season with Dallas. Fans were optimistic about Hendershot heading into 2023. While he would have to contend with Ferguson and Schoonmaker for playing time, he was coming off a 3-touchdown season that the former Indiana Hoosier catch 11 passes for 103 yards. However, injury wrecked Hendershot's 2023 campaign. In Week 3, he suffered an ankle injury and was placed on injured reserve a couple of weeks later. He missed 9 games until his return in Week 14. While that's a bad beat for the 25-year-old, things only got worse with his performance. On just 7 targets, Hendershot dropped 2 passes. For a player that is trying to earn a bigger role with the team, those kind of things can't happen. The number one thing working in Hendershot's favor is that he's cheap. Signing as an undrafted free agent, the Cowboys legitimately can't find a player for the same price as Hendershot. However, the problem is that Stevens is also on a similarly frugal contract. Cowboys Tay wants big jump after Pro Bowl campaign. Dallas fans were focused on Ferguson heading into 2023, and for good reason. He needed to step up and replace Dalton Schultz. 1 year and a Pro Bowl nomination later, it's clear he was ready for the challenge. According to Pro Football Reference, Ferguson caught 71 receptions for 761 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was a drastic jump from his production in 2022, and now Ferguson wants to make another big jump in 2024. I need to make that exact same jump as last year, but make it even bigger, Ferguson said, according to DallasCowboys.com. In this league, you can't get complacent. You've got to keep getting better, and that's what I intend to do. We've got great vets in our facility, Brandon Cooks and Dak Prescott, and they teach you how to take care of your body and how to take care of your mind as you start to get older.